Sweet. Well, hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the CC Youth Tube, whatever the heck we're calling this bad Johnny. We are back for another episode with the Jennifer Brenner. The Jennifer Brenner, what did you do this last weekend?
Mom to you, remember?
Yes, madam.
Swumbo, she who must be obeyed.
Yeah, that's what she is in my phone.
Yeah.
Kids, respect your mothers, that way they don't slap you into next week.
Okay, we're still working on that lovely fence project and just making progress, and my whining thing is that I smashed my finger, and it was hurting so bad on Sunday that Jonah put a hot paper clip through it and relieved some of the pressure.
It hurt so bad that she was using bad words, guys. She said heck and darn and drat
And golly gee.
and gee willikers and probably 75 other Dutch four letters. So it was quite quite hilarious.
Yeah.
So we melted a hole in her fingernail and got the blood out.
Yeah,
So good
I've
times.
made sure that everybody around the house knows that my finger hurts. Actually, I've been pretty
Hey,
nice
did your
about
finger
it.
hurt?
We will submit a picture.
It was bad.
What did you do, Jonah?
I installed some Lego guy hands on my hands. Just kidding. I went biking with my brother at Angel Fire Bike Park. It's a good time. And did 5 or so laps before it got shut down because of lightning, which is actually a decent bit because like each lap is about 4.5 miles. So it was like 25 miles of riding. The last one was totally in the rain and we were muddy as all get out. And you get to the bottom after riding your bike going down the whole mountain and like your hands, you pull your hands off of the handlebars and they're like Lego guy hands. So it's like they just don't move and you're sitting there and it's like, ha, ha. So anyways, that's what I did.
bet you've got a picture that Janie can add to this.
Oh yeah, here you go.
Yeah, there we are.
Wherever it is, somewhere. Hopefully I don't just look totally foolish when I do this.
Sounds great.
Anyways,
well, it sounds like it was a lot of fun. It looked like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, even in the rain. But we aren't here today to tell you about our lovely shenanigans and that we say bad words and also get muddy. We are here because we got the chance to sit down with the resident Dr. Greg Schneeberger and ask him a few questions. So this will be a little mini-series on our interview that we got to have with Greg. In this first section that you guys are going to get to watch, we were talking a little bit about why humans keep struggling with the same darn problem. So, we're going to go ahead and cut to that. So please enjoy.
We have a special guest today, Dr. Greg Schneeberger.
The man,
The man.
the myth, the legend,
Yes.
in all of his Santa Fe ponytail glory.
That's right.
Of loving the Maine.
Yeah. I'm Jennifer Brenner. I oversee the children and youth here at Christ Church, and this is...
I'm Jonah Brenner. I'm the pastoral intern here, and the youth are forced to put up with me, or if they choose to. I'm not certain which. But,
Hey, tell me that joke.
Greg, I made up a new word.
Let's hear it.
Plagiarism.
I don't even get it.
I made up a new word. Plagiarism. As in I stole the word.
Dude, I'm so old and like tired and crusty.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Oh, my Lord.
I stole the joke too, so it's just like adding layers to the fact that like I stole someone else's idea.
Plagiarism means that you take somebody else's words as your own. So he said he came up with a new word, plagiarism.
It's my own word that I made up.
Tell Greg the other joke, the critter joke.
We got another one?
Can you
Oh.
cut that out?
Yeah,
We can put it.
What? No, please. That stays in. Because I just want it to be real for all you people. And just, yeah. 'Cause
Genuine.
Okay, tell
we're only human. I don't understand all the jokes that are there in the world. So let's try another joke.
My delivery could have been better. So.
No, I'm sure it's really funny.
I did get thrown in jail though for lining up a bunch of chipmunks at the park.
Okay.
The police said I couldn't be out criticizing.
Okay, now that one is good. That one is good. Criticizing.
Criticizing. But anyways, yeah, we're here and we are graced by the presence of the Greg Schneeberger, the Gregory Schneeberger. The doctor. But so we just wanted to have a quick conversation. We're going through the Great Divorce, and for just to catch up and give context for all of this, as we've been reading, C.S. Lewis's lovely little novella on hell and what it's like. A lot of the characters that we interact with are people that have problems with pretty common things and things that we deal with today and that seem like pretty long-standing mainstays through society, right? Like humans and characters and people in this book that deal with, like self-image or lust and licentiousness, right? Wrath, all of these things that were prevalent in Lewis's time that are in the 1940s that we see today. And so we wanted to have you on and talk about like when we see that, it kind of points to like humans kind of have issues with the same stuff. Why is that, So why do humans keep on having issues with the same thing over and over again?
That's a good question, man. First of all, I'm glad you guys are reading C.S. Lewis. It's a good move. Wise. And The Great Divorce is it's heavy, but it's important, right? Because I think, especially right now, as you were saying in our cultural moment, people have a lot of questions, and a lot of the things, maybe especially for younger people that you're kind of relying on. Things are going pretty well. I'm going to have a great junior year, a great senior year. College is going to be amazing. There'll be jobs, things will be stable, and now it feels like a lot of that has really been undermined. And it feels like, well, gosh, C.S. Lewis is running in the context of, war, post-war. That's really heavy, but geez, we were all doing pretty well, especially in the West. In America, Western Europe, there was stability, there was abundance, there was a real sense of certainty about everything. And now that's really been undercut, I think, in a significant way. And we're face to face with our suffering and our challenges. And yet the question is, but we have all this technology, right? Mm-hmm. We carry around everybody on their hip. I know you've got an Android, but so you've got like the MS-DOS.
Sorry.
You've got that deal like where you have to code in your situation to be able to use it. But it's like you've got a supercomputer in your pocket. We throw enough food in America away every year to feed the whole world easily. That's just the food we throw away. I'm like, why can't we solve this stuff? Why can't we solve our brokenness and our problems? And it really seems like intuitively, I don't know, just in an observational sense, not even going into, the scriptures and Christianity and kind of a biblical worldview, just empirically observed scientifically, like there's something here that these other things really can't solve, like more money, more education, more whatever. We have all that, and yet the problems remain the same.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think as we're grappling with long-standing issues that we can't make go away, no matter how many things we throw at it, no matter how many times we try, right? As Christians, I think we've got a special answer for that, and a way that we view that's really different than any other worldview, right? Like the condition of human as his inherent state is different from a lot of other religions or worldviews or beliefs, right? I think human being inherently good or inherently bad, like there's a lot that rides on that. So I don't know, what would you say as in a Christian informed worldview, like what is human nature?
How many hours do we have to all this?
As many as you want.
So, okay, the first thing that comes to mind is this is why I love zombie movies. Zombies. Right? Zombies have been like a big deal for what? I don't know, last 10, 20, 30 years. Not 30, but like 10 to 15, right? Walking Dead,
I saw a zombie movie that was filmed in the 60s that was
okay.
The Night of the Living Dead.
But there's been like a zombie, yeah, and that was like with the old school makeup and stuff. It was real scary.
It was so scary.
Yeah, that's not gonna hate.
There's been a resurgence.
There's been a zombie resurgence, and I think it's because we're subconsciously we've like betrayed our own ease and decadence pre-COVID about like what would happen if all the comfort was stripped away. Right, so Jonah and I, being students of philosophy in our former lives at UNM, because you just graduated, yes.
Under the tutelage of V.
Let us call upon the name of John Tabor right now as we speak. Descend upon us, John Tabor. No, actually, don't do that. Don't do that. But so the zombie thing, I think, those are the stories that you subconsciously tell yourself to remind yourself about what could be when the ease and the comfort of like Maslow's hierarchy is stripped away and you get down to those base needs. Like what would happen if there was no electricity and no this and no that, and oh my goodness, look what people would do. Right? You tell yourself those stories when you're comfortable to kind of remind yourself that that would be the reality if those things were to ever happen. And here we are in the middle of COVID, and I think we're getting a little bit of a taste of that. It's interesting because in those zombie flicks, like the good ones, this is what makes, I mean, not that I want to recommend to our students to go watch The Walking Dead or whatever, but what you learn is that to keep it interesting beyond like the first 3 episodes, it can't actually be about zombies. It's about people. It's all about these groups of people and their nature that emerges when all the comforts and the ease and the structure of life is stripped away, the rule of law, all that stuff is taken away. And it's kind of that primal animal nature that emerges. So zombies, number 1. Number 2, I just wanted to say, because I think it's really important, I'm sure you guys are already doing this, but in these discussions to make it personal. I think as Christians we can be really bad at speaking abstractly and in the third person, and pastors can often be the worst at this. And so I just want to say, like, I see it in me. So I really relate to the Apostle Paul, right, in Romans chapter 7. If you guys have already talked about that, I don't know. But Paul in Romans 7 is kind of letting his existential challenges, his personal and experience challenges be made public through his writing. The things I don't want to do, I keep on doing. And the things that I want to do, and I know I should do, and I even believe that I should do, I sometimes don't do. And it leads him up to this, crescendo where he basically says, who's going to save me from this body of death? Wretched man that I am. And that isn't Paul in some weird religious way, like beating himself up to, let me beat myself penitente style so I can feel better about myself or earn righteousness before God or please the gods so they like me. It's him being really honest about, wait a minute, this isn't just about what's around me. So that's the thing that those zombie flicks bring to the fore, the good ones, right? That even if your circumstances are deeply changed and impacted for the worse, zombies. The actual real problem is with humans together, because it's out of the overflow of the heart that the mouth speaks. The problem is inside of us. It's not circumstantial. And what that does, to kind of get into your question about worldview and other ideas, is that I think that really undermines the whole idea of, sort of external theories of nature, like behaviorism.
Yeah.
Right? Or for example, like humans are just a blank slate. So if you nurture them well enough, they'll be good. Well, I was just telling someone this earlier, some super cool old dudes at a Bible study, which I will bring you to. The old guy Bible study on Tuesdays with Dick Rotto and those guys, characters. But we were talking about how there's this famous story about how Dietrich Bonhoeffer, right, who went on to be an activist, a pastor, a Lutheran missionary, a writer. He spoke against the Nazis. He was engaged in a failed plot to overthrow Hitler, was put in a concentration camp, eventually died. Bonhoeffer and Heinrich Himmler, who was one of the leaders of the SS, they actually read the same books. They read the same great books. They read the same classics. They both read Plato and Aristotle and the Enlightenment thinkers. They had the same external stuff coming in, but their hearts were postured and situated in a very different place of belief and how to interpret those truths, either to have power and dominate the weak, or to use those things to, bless the world and help fight for the weak and fight for justice in the world. And so I think that any theory of nature that puts too much emphasis on what's external and external inputs as being primary really fails on the scientific test. Really fails on the test of, like, what do we actually see and observe in the world around us, and what really feels intuitive to us about our own souls and our own struggles, right? If it was merely just a matter of, like, do better, try harder, change your behavior, well, then we could just put everybody in a little rehabilitation camp and they'd pop out on the other side doing great. There seems to be something deep inside that is, to use biblical terms, irreparably broken or dead, that isn't in need of behavior modification medicine, but is really in need of like resurrection. So, I know that doesn't get to everything that was in your really, really big question, but
you don't need to get to everything in the really, really big question.
why don't I just stop and we'll keep going and then we'll see where it goes.
Well, sweet beans, that's a lot. But dang, was it good to sit down with Greg and talk about human nature, apparently, and what zombies have in common with that. I wasn't necessarily expecting that, and I don't know if you guys were. I'm still reeling from that, and so it'll take a little while to like sit down and process that. So as I process that, and as you guys process that, feel free to email either one of us or even Greg, and we'd love to chat with you guys about it. So we will catch you next time for part 2.